good morning and welcome to another one of Wally's weekend drives right here. Let me tell you, we got something special this week. In fact, I think it's the only one in town. Subaru's new 2022 Forrester Wilderness. And of course, since it is a wilderness, it is in the autumn green metallic color that really lends to it, along with a little bit of, we are the copper state, so along with a little bit of copper anodization of the aluminum and accents. One thing you do notice right to start with, kind of looks squatty and funny in the front. What Subaru has done for the Forrester here, or the Wilderness I should say, what they've done is they have a special front and rear bumper and down here, so your approach angle when you're going off-road is now up to 23.5 degrees when you come up on something to step over it. That combined with the 9.1 inches of ground clearance underneath there. So what I'm thinking is every time I'm driving on the freeway and you see one of those ladders, you always wonder, can you run over it and not drag it down the road? This is one of those cars you could straddle it and not have to worry about. Now, one thing here on the side, if you look, black anodized wheels with, they're actually 17-inch wheels there. Looks like they're a little bit small for the tire, but when you go off-road, the suspension actually moves this much. So if you had larger tires on it, you'd be beaten up on the fenders. So that's not a good thing. Now, it is powered by Subaru's Boxer motor, the flat 4. That's a 2.5 liter, making right at 182 horsepower and 176 foot-pounds of torque. Now, that, if you combine it with a CVT transmission and the symmetrical all-wheel drive that Subaru is known for, this thing will basically be like a mountain goat. It'll climb up anything, including Camelback Mountain, because we did try it. Didn't make it, but we did try it. Now, Maddie, if you get in here and take a look, one thing that you see inside here, also along with the great wilderness badging, you see a little bit more copper in there, accents on the steering wheel and the shifter. And then if you look down into the center there, Maddie, you'll see there's a little copper knob there. And what that does is that gives you two different driving modes for off-road, whether you're looking to go in loose sand, a little bit of dirt, or some heavy muddy stuff, it'll do it. And then on the steering wheel also, it has a great little tuning ability that when you hit the S or the I button on the steering wheel, it comes on to your torque, and depends on how much torque you need immediately. I prefer the one that delivers the torque at a low RPM, because when you're off-road and climbing hills, it's really important not to have any kind of lag. You need to be able to just kind of cruise up the hill. But if you take a look inside here, one of the things that you're going to see in the back also, Maddie, is the fact that there are a generous amount of USB outlets throughout this thing, 4 to be exact, 2.1 amp charging outlets, so when you're out there with your devices and your people in the back seat, they can get taken care of too. You know, and we do have the trash truck coming, so we'll see if we can get him to stop. There we go. Okay, moving further along to the back here, Maddie, take a look at the back of here. We talked about up front, we talked about the rear bumper also being new here. So again, as you're stepping off the bumps and the hills and everything, you got a little bit more clearance with that angle, so you're not dragging your bumper as you're going off the road. Now, if you look in here, like all Subarus, basically you can just get them muddy, hose them out inside. They've got everything going on there. That is no problem at all when you take, whether it's your kids, your friends, your dogs, whatever, because Subaru is definitely dog friendly. Now, if you need a little bit more cargo room, if you take a look right here with the touch of this button, bam, goes down. In fact, it goes down flat. So if you wanted to sleep in here, if you're going to go out camping, you might want to do that. And we might also mention that the roof rails on this new Forrester here have been beefed up a little bit to where you can actually put a tent up there and it'll hold like up to 800 pounds. So you and your wife, somebody like that, hopefully you don't weigh 800 pounds. But when you think about all that, you know, you got to think about pricing. Well, MSRP on this is only $36,015. Now, like I said, I think we're the only ones in town that have it. I ran around to some of the Subaru dealers. They're down on inventory like all car dealers, but I think the supply chain crisis is really hitting them hard because this was the first time most of them see it. But keep an eye on Subaru dealers. Get out there and check one out, because not only here, what you've got is you've got the STI version too if you're a hot rodder. So get out to a Subaru dealer and get off-road.